Monster RX93.1 presents All Out, your daily morning pick-me-up. All out hits, all out celebrity interviews, all out sports and showbiz news. Your hosts, Rico and Karla.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this man, portrays different roles.
Yeah.
You know, he is the guy to watch out for when it comes to acting. You know, in every generation, they say, in his generation now, he's up and coming. Well, he's already there because of the films and the projects that he has under his belt. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the show none other than Tony Labrusca.
What's up, guys?
Hi,
Tony. Hello. Hi.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Look good, my friend. Parang walang 100 days sa quarantine tayo, ah.
No, trust me. I definitely feel it.
So, how have you been, though? Before anything else, how has this whole quarantine lockdown situation been like for you? Because you're very busy. I mean, you have so many projects. So to be able to say, like, oh my gosh, I'm literally just at home. How are you?
Well, like, I think the first 2 weeks I was losing my mind, but like the days were taking so long and I had like absolutely nothing to do because I was so used to just like working every day. Even if I didn't want to work, like I always tell my mom, like, there's a difference between like working really hard and working a lot. What's up, Ria? That's what I told my mom. Like I have been working so much the past 4 years, like whether I liked it or not. That was like the only thing I knew. So when we all got quarantined and I had nothing to do, it was like driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that was like that for everybody else as well. And then once we all got used to it, I personally started enjoying the quarantine after that.
Oh, so what have you been doing to adjust and now enjoy this time? Because it's different for people, right? I mean, some people turned to working out. Other people became master chefs in their kitchen. What did you do to sort of get into this groove that you're having?
Well, I definitely went through phases. Like phase one was kind of like letting myself go for 3 weeks. So I just like stayed up as long as I could until my head hurt really bad. And then I would fall asleep all day, watch whatever I wanted, didn't work out, was gaining so much weight. And then after I realized, I was like, wow, okay, I need to like come out of this quarantine looking hot. So I started working out every day. And now I feel like it's like, I guess like phase 3 where we're all kind of accepting that, wait, okay, this is new normal. So I'm starting to get work again. Everything's at home. So it's pretty busy, which is great. And just now it's just weird, like trying to adjust to like this period where I have responsibilities again, but it's just so strange because like everything's at home. So you don't feel like it's a working environment, but this is pretty much it for now.
You know, Tony, in fairness, ang linis ng bahay mo. I mean, like in the background, it's so clean. Look at that.
Okay, right before I went on air, like I just like shoved everything here so you can't see it. There was like lights in the background because I wasn't sure, like, we had so much promo yesterday. So like I woke up today literally like 15 minutes before the show started. That's why I'm wearing like a hat. And I came down and there was like lights, a chair back there. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to use natural sunlight. I'm going to push everything behind the camera.
I stand a man who's honest enough to say, listen, there was a bunch of junk, but because this is a video, I got to just move it towards the side. You were talking about this for like 4 years. You know, you're used to the mall shows and the actual press conferences. But now that everybody's stuck at home, everything is digital, right? Mm-hmm. Was that also a big adjustment for you in terms of like promo and interviews? Like, or are you happier like, oh, comfort of my own home, I can wear a nice shirt and some boxers because nobody gonna see? I mean, you know?
Well, it definitely has its perks. And then it also has its like cons. Like it is kind of nice, like being able to work at home, like you're at the comfort of your own, like safe environment. Like we all feel comfortable in our own way at home. So, I mean, that's great. But the cons about it is like sometimes because we're at home, it's so hard to motivate yourself to actually get stuff done.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, like, for me, I definitely thrive off of human contact, like interaction.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. Like I told my friends the other day, like, Zoom meetings are great, but when you're trying to get like a product launch or something, like it's frustrating when they're like, okay, can you like go to this email and then click this link and then press that and then it'll lead you here and then do this and then share your screen, and it's like I kind of just like want to be with somebody like in a room, talk to them, but it's fine. This is what we got for now.
And the great part is you're adjusting to it just like everybody else, and you're open to sharing that adjustment, man. Now, you did mention, staying up late, letting yourself go. What were the things that you were eating? What were the things that you were watching? What were the shows?
Well, I just binged whatever I could find on YouTube and on Netflix. What shows did I watch? I remember I watched Elite,
Mhm.
and I just ate anything. Like a lot of people think I have a diet, but I really don't. Like I love eating junk food, and that's my weakness. Like I'm a sugar addict, so I would my mom, and I would play a lot of video games. So my mom would catch me, and it would be like 12. It would be like 11 or 12 the next day, and I would like still be playing God of War on the PlayStation, and she'd walk in and be like, "Drop the controller, go to bed." So
He's just like us, Rico.
Yeah, you are human.
Oh my God.
You are human.
He's a celebrity, but he's just like us. Oh my goodness. Tony, I mean, you have taken on so many different roles. Like Rico and I were talking about this earlier. I mean, ever since you started your showbiz career, you've tried different roles. And was that something that you wanted to give yourself going into showbiz? Because I'm going to call it out right now. You're a really good looking guy. You're very fit. You're very attractive. Were you afraid like to get typecast to only like the hunky roles? Is that why you really took it upon yourself now? I'm going to take on all these different roles so nobody can say that I'm just the good looking dude who like goes after the girl in every role,
Right. Okay, that's a really interesting conversation because I actually didn't even know that I was going to be an actor. Like when we think about it, my parents were performers, like they were artists and they were in a band. So I always thought that I was going to be like, I thought I was going to be like them. I thought I was going to be singing on stage, dancing. And then after Pinoy Boy Band, like I got a role for La Luna Sangre.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like after that, like all these roles just like kept happening. And I honestly didn't imagine myself to be like such a serious actor. But like after each project, like the roles just kept getting more and more serious. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it looked like I don't really have a choice. You know what I mean? Because I can't just say no to this role or this director or this project because it's such a huge opportunity. But then I started realizing like the responsibility, and it started like weighing down on me because it's like I couldn't let these people down, and I couldn't embarrass myself either. So it was really challenging, because it ended up being like a love-hate relationship. But I honestly believe that everything happens for a reason. And, when I think about it and when I pray about it, I know that I think God is kind of maybe just like adjusting like where I think I want to go. And maybe he's like telling me that maybe this is where he wants me to be right now. So, and when it comes to roles, I don't really have like a plan for myself. I honestly just want to choose like cool roles. And I've been really blessed to have been given like a really diverse selection of roles. So that's something I'm really grateful for.
Did you ever ask your dad for some tips? Because, your dad is a good actor and a great host as well. And we know your mom is from the legendary group Kulay. So was there any tip?
When you said dad, I was going to be like, which one? Sorry. It's funny because like when people are like, how's your dad? I'm like, which one? And they're like, Boom. And I'm like, okay, which one? They're both named Boom. So
Oh, it's good. Do that.
LaBruca, right? The actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? We actually do get to talk a lot. He gives me a lot of really good advice because, you know, here in showbiz in the Philippines, it's just so different compared to like, you know, for someone like me who was raised in like Canada or the States, like, you know, a lot of people have told me that whatever I learned out there, I've got to just like forget it all, like throw it away and relearn all the ways here in the Philippines, because it's just like a whole different monster out here. So he's been really helpful. Like whenever I feel like I need a little bit of advice, like he gives me really great advice and he helps me out. So yeah, because he's old, so he knows like the ropes to the industry.
He's old.
He's my age. Ouch.
Rico, you are old.
He's old, you know?
I just like making fun of him for being old.
Can we take a moment to appreciate how honest
Yeah.
Tony is? Because I love that he's just like no filter. He's like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm literally gonna say it like it is, guys. I didn't even know I was gonna get all these roles, but I'm happy. But there's like this pressure. I mean, Tony, you said earlier that you never really thought about becoming an actor. You know, you thought you were gonna maybe sing or dance, like you were gonna entertain, but you never thought it would be acting. With all the different roles that you said, it gets harder and more difficult to get into those. As an actor, though, as somebody who never thought that you would really get into the acting scene, how do you mentally prepare yourself for each role? Like, is it a different process every time, or like, do you read the script? How does it work?
Right. Okay. Honestly, it's been a really wild ride because like, okay, I knew that getting into acting was like the formula here in the Philippines. You know, like we all kind of get that there's like this formula that like whether you're in reality TV or you're a singer, you kind of have to dabble into acting, and then you get like this popularity. You know what I mean? And when I started getting the roles, I just didn't think that they would be so serious. And I remember too, specifically when I got my first crying scene, like I told the director, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, I don't know how to cry. I don't know. I remember like there was this one scene where there was a lot of people and I just didn't want them to get frustrated at me. And that's how I started crying. Like, I started crying because I was more scared that people would be upset with me than actual, like what the character was going through. Like I was so scared the director was like gonna slap me or scream at me. And so I was like, Tony, if you don't cry right now, you're gonna embarrass yourself really bad. So, and like as the roles got harder, I just, you know, I still consider myself pretty new when it comes to acting. So I don't really have like this routine yet, but I read the script and then I personally like to imagine what it would be like to be in the character's shoes. And then sometimes just use like my personal experiences. But for now, maybe this isn't the right thing to do, but honestly, I just try to have fun with it and I'm a little bit more spontaneous. And then there's specific directions that the director wants me to do before for pre-prod, then, you know, I'll just take his lead. But aside from that, like, I know there's a lot of actors out there who have like a whole ritual on how to get into character. I mean, wala pa ako sa ganung level, you know, so for now, I just kind of have fun with it.
You know, after La Luna Sangre or during La Luna Sangre, you did a project with Angel Aquino. How was that? How was the preparation for that character?
Okay, let me tell you. So that, you know what? That was a crazy, crazy ride. Like, oh my gosh. All right. When I got that project, I actually was like really into racing at that point because that's when fitness started becoming like a source of happiness to me. Yeah. And I really started liking what I saw in the mirror. And so like racing, obstacle course racing was something that I was like super into. And when I got that project, I kind of knew that I was like, okay, if I take this project, that means that I'm going to be in the good graces of this boss. And then they might give me another project. But But it just so happened to land on like this race that I was like so excited for. So I was like so gutted because I was like, okay, I don't know what God's trying to tell me right now, but like, this is really going to benefit my career. So I was like, you know what, I might as well take it. And so when I took this role, it was like all the way up in the mountains in Baguio. And I get really, really anxious and kind of depressed when we do like tapings that are locked in, because I just feel so far away from society and from like people. And it makes me feel like I don't have anything to like cling on to. And when we did this movie, like there was so much heightened emotions. Like, I'm going to be honest, me and the director kept fighting. Like we were fighting the whole time. Like we didn't see eye to eye. She wanted me to portray the character this way. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm doing my own thing. If you don't like it, I'm whatever, like who cares? And we just did not get along. We really had like a cat and dog relationship. And then because of so much, and like, just imagine this. It was our first day. Me and Angel had just met each other. And we ended up shooting a sex scene from like 9 p.m. all the way till 7 a.m. And so me and Angel, we were just like losing our minds. But by 7 a.m., we were just like, are we even going to sleep today? Because we've got taping in a few hours. And like the next day, we were terrified. We were like, we were so tired of having like sex. we just don't.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Can please nobody mention the word sex or sex scene, because we're just so like we're so like traumatized.
Oh my
But
God.
like, so much happened during the shooting of that movie that we all actually ended up bonding so well. And I can honestly say that me and Direk Connie, like, we actually really respect each other now. And I can honestly say that she's a good friend. It was all because of that crazy gong show.
I mean, can you imagine preparing for, for a love scene? How does one prepare for that?
I
Is the
know.
camera angles? How does that work?
Okay. Okay, this was also kind of my fault. I can't believe I'm exposing myself, but I read a little bit. I read the gist of Glorious, and it's because my mind was so out of it, because like I was so focused on like racing that I didn't think that it was actually gonna push through until like it was like, oh shucks, like I'm in my car, I'm driving up to Baguio now. I was like, shucks, like this is really happening. And so I didn't really get into like the gritty details of how crazy the sex scenes were. So it was like a slap to the face once we were actually doing it. And I was like really shook. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm getting myself into. And mind you, I had never done any scenes like this before. So this was like a baptism by fire type of thing going on. And like, well, me and Angel just had to like drink a bit so that we could loosen up, I guess. But
Oh my gosh.
guys, you know what? After a few hours though, at about like 4 a.m. in the morning, at that point, I was like literally sleeping on Angel's chest. And she was like, you know what, whatever, just sleep on me, it's fine.
Nap,
Imagine
nap.
a star as established as Angel Aquino tells you, yeah, it's okay, honey. You can
Yes,
take a nap. It's fine. But thanks for sharing that with us, Tony, because we interviewed Derek Ramsey
And he
a
did
couple of
share,
weeks
yeah.
ago, and he also shared with us how awkward and hilarious and sometimes weird love scenes are. It's like they look so intense and intimate on screen. But as actors, I mean, you guys are like, hey, what's good, bro? Like, I'm gonna see you at this, kind of half naked. But
Yeah.
it's fine, It's nice just to hear that, different actors have different experiences in terms of that. Because, I mean, Glorious took the world by storm. Like, people went crazy for the trailer alone, where you guys, like, just mac it out. You're like, because that was the first, and I think that also has to do with what you were saying, that you were going to go into this movie, how you wanted to portray it and how you were going to do it. That's why that intense kissing scene was something that the Filipino audience had never seen before, and you got so many comments. I mean, do you even remember like some of the reactions, like the hilarious reactions of people when that scene in the trailer came out? Like, what did your mom say? That I was.
You know what's so funny is that when we were doing this project, me and Angel honestly had no expectations, and that's what made it so awesome for us actually. Because like after we finished this project, we were like, okay, you know what? Good, we're done. We can move on to the next project. Like this was a crazy ride, but at least we got through it. And I remember me, my mom, and my sister, like they planned like a vacation for me. We went to Boracay because I had been working so much. So the trailer came out, and we watched it. And like for me, I don't like watching myself on screen. So like seeing all those scenes, I was like cringing really bad, just watching myself like wilding out, making out, and just like so I was cringing at myself. And so we just like put it away. We were like, okay, cool. Like here's the trailer. And literally not even 30 minutes, my manager was calling because like apparently it had already reached like 1 million views. And just that whole day, it just kept going and going. And then the memes started coming in. And I was like, wait, like, why are people so obsessed with this trailer? Like, so it was honestly a really, really nice surprise because like we had gone through so much just to get this, get this movie done. Like it was really like, it wasn't a walk in the park. So to see that type of reaction and for it to break the internet like that, it was just like, for me and Angel, we felt so blessed because we were like, you know what, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Like, we didn't see what God was trying to do at that moment, but, like everything we went through was leading up to this moment. So it was all worth it.
For those that are tuning in, we have Tony Labrusca. He's here with us live. He's talking about Glorious, the trailer and all that. Now, the after effect of it, is there more mature women hollering at you, DMing you?
Okay. You know what? I was like, because I joke around about this and I was telling my mom, you know what? Mom, I'm so excited. I've got my backup plan now since Glorious is coming out. Like, I'm pretty sure there's sugar mamas that's going to slide into my DMs. Like, I'm so ready. And like, I told her, I was like, I'm so disappointed. No one's sending me any indecent proposals. Like, come on, I'm just waiting, But I think it's because we've got a lot of really respectable women here in the Philippines. So I think they really respected the fact that, we were telling the story of a lot of people's stories. And a lot of men and older women, women of age, were, bearing their hearts out to us through social media, telling us that, thank you for telling this story because this happened to me. This is my story. Like I can relate to this. Finally, someone is telling a story of what happened to us. Because it is sad because there's so many stories that need to be told that haven't been shed light on yet. Right? It's so normal for us to see an older man with a younger woman, but the truth is, a lot of families and a lot of societies really shun an older woman with a younger man. And I think that's also systemic. It's kind of built into us because through generations of time, like that's how we think. But when we think about it, just like anybody deserves to love whoever they want. So. Like me not getting like the indecent proposals and sugar mamas that I wish that I could have had in the DM. It was totally fine because I ended up getting so many messages from like all these amazing women telling me about how they really appreciated the story and that they could really relate to it. So that was really nice.
Oh, Glorious 2. Someone's saying Glorious 2. Will there be a sequel?
Hello.
We joke around about it with Angel. We're like, when will the Glorious 2 happen? Like maybe she'll be like a Lola na and I'm like still into her.
You're so cool. I love you. I really love him. He's so funny. No, I'm telling you now, honey. You mentioned that you didn't get any indecent proposals or whatever. After this interview goes live, you better check your DMs. Because, people are stuck at home. People have changed and evolved.
Ubi pandesal right now. And sushi cake.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, Facebook Live. I know you guys are excited. Tony, is there anything that you can share with us that's keeping you sane, basically, during this entire quarantine? Like, you've been reading books. Do you have any workout gear there? Do you want to, do a little push-up for people? No, I'm just kidding. Whatever you want to
well, this is like my little game room that you guys were mentioning that looked really clean a while ago.
Wow.
So I've got like this little chair here.
Is that a barber chair? That's dope. Is that a barber chair?
Yeah, so to anybody who doesn't know, I actually used to be a barber. So whenever I get a barber here or if I want to cut someone's hair, I've got like the actual chair for it.
Are you kidding?
And this is the mask.
Oh.
What's that?
Are you serious? You really cut hair?
Yeah, I do. I have like all my supplies here.
Is that something that you learn in Canada and then you gotta hustle and make some money on the side of the garage, or you just?
Well, I used to be really obsessed with like cutting my hair and keeping it really nice and tidy. And so I was like, okay. And I like people were saying that, do something that you like to do or that you're obsessed with. So I was like, I'm pretty obsessed with keeping my hair really nice. So I might as well just get into barbering. And it ended up being really fun. And it's a skill that I really appreciate that I have, because it sucks because here in the Philippines, we get haircuts for really cheap. But honestly, in Canada and in the States, when you go to a decent barber, they start at like $20, $30. And if you go to a salon, it's like $35 for a cut. So they actually make decent bank.
Yeah.
Here in the Palenque, 30 pesos. So
I know it sucks. I mean, it's good for us, but I do wish that the barbers out here got paid a little bit more.
But Tony, one of the things that while people are in quarantine, is there any tips you could give for self haircut?
Yeah.
Honestly, for anybody who wants to do a haircut on their own, here I can show them.
Whoa, we're getting a Monster exclusive to all the husbands out there, to all the men who are stuck at home or your wives have to be the one to cut. Just watch Tony. Here we go.
So this is a wall clipper. I actually forget what they're called, but this is the Wall 5-star, and they're pretty standard. They come in a lot of different colors, but if you want to cut your own hair, you're going to need something called a guard. So
that's the clip.
Yeah.
Uy, mahal yung clipper niya, Karla. Mga 5K yan.
I never knew this about him. That's what I find so cool. Tony Labrusca. I mean, hello.
So if you cut your hair, so if you cut your hair at home, I'm going to suggest that you guys have a 2 guard. So a number 2 guard.
Ah, okay.
And the sun is like, and a number 1 guard.
Okay.
So you're going to want to start off by...
Are you going to cut your own hair?
No, I'm not. But I'll just...
I was building that up. I was like, he's going to shake his head.
Because once you guys have the guard, you'll be able to adjust your hair and it'll clean it up more nicely. And honestly, you guys could just finish off with a 2 if you just want to go straight up. Because a lot of people who just use this will get a really wonky haircut because they won't be able to, really blend. And it'll be so stuck to your head. So by the time it gets up here, you're going to have a baldish looking shape. So my suggestion to anybody who doesn't know how to cut their hair but wants to keep it clean, just take a 2 guard and then just go straight up really gently. Don't do this. Okay. Just gently go straight up. If you mess up, I mean, you're in quarantine and nobody's going to look at you anyways. So
that's true.
We learned something new.
So in case you botch your haircut, no one's going to see anyway. Okay, Tony, take us through the rest of your room. Thank you for that nice little haircut tip, because I know a lot of people are struggling right now because some salons still aren't open or their barbershops aren't open for that.
So here's where I spend a lot of my time. And I just like to chill, play PS4. Unfortunately, I bought a really cheap TV and now it doesn't work anymore. So maybe that's God's sign of telling me that I should stop playing video games anyways. So I'm just taking that as a sign. And yeah, that's about it.
What are some of your favorite games on the PS that you are a master in? Like, oh, try me, bro. I'm gonna beat you. Like, what games are you excellent at?
I can show you guys.
Oh, here we
he
go.
gonna turn it on.
Here we go.
I'll
I'm
just show you.
ready.
Okay.
I'm expecting like something like macho and like fighter style. If he gives me something funny, I'm going to just.
He got a lot of games, Karla.
I know.
He got like
Oh
a
my
handful
God.
of games. Think of that.
Okay, reseller.
So are you excited for the PS5?
For anybody who didn't know, I actually used to compete in tournaments for Tekken.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, who's your character?
Guys, before I became an actor, I actually dreamed of becoming a professional Tekken player. Yeah, I really thought that was gonna happen. So this is one of my favorite games of all time.
Ah, okay, Tekken.
I've even got like the controller for it. So
Oh, you got the
my
nice
gosh.
joystick. Look at that, Karla.
Tony,
Yeah.
you are adorable. I can't.
I know.
Who's your character? Exactly. Who's your character?
These things.
Where do you even buy like these kinds of consoles? I mean, what do you search for? Like the ultimate arcade style console for Tekken. Like,
What's interesting about that is like when I first came to the Philippines, I actually didn't know that I was gonna be a celebrity or anything like that. Like I just told my dad because I was working as a barber, and before that I was working like 3 jobs in Canada. So it's like it's funny. I used to flip burgers for the viral commercial that I did here.
Really?
Yeah. So in Canada, I was flipping burgers. And then after that, I ended up becoming like a cashier at a retail store. And then I was juggling being a cashier and being a shoe salesman. And then I started getting into being a barber. And I was like, okay, I can't work 3 jobs. So I had to start letting go of some of those. And then I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I don't want to like work like this for the rest of my life. Like, I want to do something else, you know, like. So I was like, I wanted to like soul search, I guess that's what people call it. So the only place that I knew was the Philippines. So I came out here, and I remember I only saved up like something cheap, like $300 coming out here. And then that was like kind of a lot for me.
$15, 15,000 pesos. 15,000 pesos.
Like, so and my dad had a condo in Pasong Tamo, and I remember just every day I would walk to Glorieta and I would see all these people playing Tekken, and that was already one of my favorite games. And so I would just play there every day. And then there was this one group of people who would you would challenge somebody, right?
yeah.
So, got it right. I used to play arcade in Glorieta.
Hardcore dun.
And so,
Grabe.
yeah, Glorieta 4. And so they were challenging me, and they started playing tricks on me. Like they would always make me think I was gonna win, and then like beat my ass, and just like I would just like lose. And then they ended up coming to me, and they were just like, "Hey, like your skills, like it looks like you have like a foundation of Tekken, but you kind of suck. If you want to learn, you can join our team, and we can train you."
Wow, there's training to this.
God.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't know anybody in the Philippines. Like I only had like $300 in my pocket. So I was like, you know what, whatever, let's do this. And that's how that's actually how I learned Tagalog, because they didn't speak English either. So I was kind of like in immersion. So it was a really, really cool setup. And honestly, like, that's why I don't really believe in coincidences, because I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Like if I didn't meet those people, I probably wouldn't have been able to practice Tagalog. So that was a lot of fun. And the only reason I needed to work again was because I needed money so that I could play at the arcade, you know? So that's how I got my commercial, because I auditioned for that, and I ended up getting more money so that I could play at the arcade.
All Out with Rico and Karla. All Out music and all out fun. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Manila's hottest Monster RX93.1.